Okay, so John B. This is part of a series that I am calling Whatever Happened To, where I pick something from random, out of obscurity, that was once great and now has been lost in the sands of time, and I ask what in the world happened to it. I do 5 cards. This is meant to be fun. It's just something. Take your mind off the Trumpville for a second. Watch it if you won't, don't if you don't. But John B. was a singer. He was a singer who was marketed towards the urban market. He was an R&B singer, that's rhythm and blues. So he was a white guy that had a R&B voice, so that means he was marketed to black people. So he had the, what we call bald fade, which is a type of haircut. So he had like the black guy haircut. He had the earring in his ear. He had that cool swagger like black dudes. So he was marketed towards black women specifically. And so he was very popular. He had a song and he had a great voice and the whole bit, but I mean, every now and then you'll see a story about him, but he doesn't have that popularity anymore. And so, mind you, nobody from that era really does, but whatever happened to John B. He had a good voice, all that. So, once your hands on it, pick it up. 4 of Wands. Company of some sort. What's the influence? 10 of Swords, got cut. Once the money dries up and the sales dry up, that's kind of what happens. I mean, he can still sing, but can you still sell? Back then, CDs were a big thing, not this streaming and downloading thing. So, positive for you. Queen of Wands. And negative for you is the Tower. So everything came crumbling down kind of overnight. And then the outcome is the 4 of Cups. I mean, he still can get an offer to, I don't want to sound insulting, but how some of these, give me a better word. Some of the acts from his era sometimes put on shows. And they sometimes can call him and say, hey, remember that song you had? Come sing it. So he's not gone and forgotten in the sands of time. He's just not where he used to be, and none of them are. So that's not really that big of a deal. Because here's the company and then here's the loss. So, I mean, that's okay. That happens. Monica and Brandy and all of them. Like they have this, if you are still here, they had this debate. Aaliyah was also a singer. They said Aaliyah would be bigger than Beyonce if Aaliyah was still alive. Aaliyah died in a plane crash. No, she wouldn't. And here's how you know she wouldn't. Is because nobody from that area or from that era is now that relevant to where they are better than a Beyonce. Now, Aaliyah was different because she sang, she danced. She was the Beyonce before Beyonce. But she would not be as big as Beyonce right now because 1, she would be older. 2, she would just, the time would have moved on. It happens to all of them. There will be one day where Beyonce is not as popular as the new girl who comes along. It just happens that way. Remember, Michael Jackson's Invincible album did not sell that well. His Thriller album sold, jajillions of copies. Sometimes you just lose your luster. It happens, and that's kind of what happened here. The Tower, he lost it all, but he can still work. It's just not in, he's got the small stage now. That's a perfect card, actually. He's got the small stage. But, work is work. At least it's an honest living. Good for you, John B.